Hello, I'm Kaine Riggan with the North Carolina Department of Public Safety, and I am here today to brief you on the resources that are available to you as a local government for the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. So let's get started. Of course, we do go to great effort to make sure that these videos are nice and succinct for you, but before you watch this one, I would encourage you to take a look at that 8-minute video called Hazard Mitigation for Homeowners that is available on our website. That's going to show you the messaging that's going out to the homeowners and the directions that they're getting for applying for the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. So take 8 minutes to view that. It's going to go over the number one and the number two options for them, the property buyouts and the home elevations available through HMGP. But today, I'm also going to share with you number three and number four, landslide mitigation and also infrastructure. These projects, it's important for you to know about as opposed to the homeowner, because whereas the homeowner applies for number one and number two, and they apply to you for that, and you need to know how that is going to be coming into your section. But number three and number four are landslide mitigation and infrastructure projects that you apply directly to the state for, and the state applies to FEMA. So we'll go over those here in just a minute, but let's review the property buyout and the home elevations and talk about what you can expect. Of course, the homeowner applies to the county applies to state, and the state applies to FEMA for those funds. Now, I'm highlighting the county here because we're going to talk about your role in this process here in just a moment. But then when that money comes in on the grant side, the feds go to the state goes to the county, and the county pays those contractors that are doing that work. However, there is a state-centric program. You can read about that on our website if you're not already familiar with it, that takes the burden away from the local government in directly managing those projects. So do read about the state-centric program and know that that is going to be available under Helene for you to have the state manage the contracts and the grant through to completion. So this screen shows the message that the homeowners are getting. This is their action slide. This shows them that they fill out the homeowner interest form on our website, which I'm going to share with you for your county, those homeowner interest forms that have come in so that you can work that list and make sure that no one falls through the cracks. They receive the application in an automated email and everything they need to submit that application to you at the local government. There's also a video available to them online called How to Complete a PSI Application that goes page by page through that 14-page document to help them fill out their application. But this is the message that they get. I want you to read this. Do a screenshot here. This is the message that is given to them. And the most important part of this for you is that 2024 statewide county contact list. This tells them who to submit their grant application to. So when they click that link, they're going to go right straight through to our website. In fact, it'll take them directly to the page, but here's how you can find it. You can either click to learn more on that ncdps.gov/HM site. You can also click disaster grants that I'm pointing out with the blue one there, or go straight to the resources over at the red arrow. Those resources are going to show you the county list for county and emergency managers. Take a look at that. If you are not happy with who these email contacts are for the homeowner, email me and let me know, and I'll get that changed in quick time for you. We want to make sure that the two people that are listed on this are not necessarily the county manager and the emergency manager, but the two people that are best suited at your organization to take care and receive these grant applications from the homeowners. Very important. What do you do when that happens? That's what we're going to talk about here. Depends on where you are. If you're in one of the green or the brown shaded areas here that were most heavily affected by PTC8 and Helene, there is some additional assistance available to you from the state in getting these applications across the finish line. Now, it is a statewide eligible program, so all of the other counties can apply, but you fall in the priority 2 and the priority 3 group, which means that you build your application just as you always have in the past for the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. But first, let's take a closer look at what those priority 1 counties receive. All you need to do when you receive those applications is email those to the 4 contacts that are on the screen here. email it to all four. And if you would, it would be very kind and save a lot of back and forth emails. If you could go ahead and use the naming convention at the bottom of the screen that shows the HMGP app, the property address, and then the county name in the subject line of the email, that helps us to organize things and go back at the end and make sure we haven't missed any to go on the development spreadsheet. Now, what am I talking about for that development spreadsheet? We're going to complete the intake of that application. We'll reach out to the homeowner and get any information that is missing, and then we're going to submit you a property development spreadsheet that allows the local government, your council, your commission to approve these applications, whether it's acquisition or elevation, moving on to FEMA. So we're not going to submit to FEMA without getting the approval of the local government. We're just helping you with the development of that application because we know you've got some other things going on in the response to the disaster right now. I think it's highly likely that we'll leave this webinar up for a while. So I want to point out that this next slide might be a little bit out of date, but I want you to know that this outreach is happening because it's the first time that the state has offered this in-person direct technical assistance for the local counties under the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. You'll see here that they range from a 1 to a 3 day sit down in each one of those priority counties, but that was determined based on the volume of the homeowner interest forms we've been getting online. The rest of the state applies the old-fashioned way. You build the applications yourself, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And if I go a little too fast, you take a look at the description on the YouTube page underneath the video, and you'll see some time signatures that I've put down there that tells you where in this webinar you can go to find specific information, just a little helpful tool to keep you from having to watch this over and over. There's about 5 steps in submitting the application, one being the incoming homeowner application, and we do have some useful tools available to them in doing that on their own and getting that to you. And then photos. The photos that are submitted are very important, and we'll have to go back out and get those if those aren't done correctly. So if you look at our resources page on our website, there's going to be a document there that shows you exactly how to do those photos and submit them with the application. You're going to pull the tax card from your county's website and 4 maps that will make up the maps file submission for your application for each one of those properties. And for those of you who are familiar with GIS and maps, you're going to know what those terms at the bottom of the screen mean. But where these are all going, all of this information like the tax card and the maps, those are going to populate your development spreadsheet, which is the heart of your HMGP application. Those are also available on our resources tabs. I've got some templates there for you for both acquisition and elevation. The development spreadsheet template, you can just drop your information right directly onto that spreadsheet without changing any of the functionality to that. And then also the county forms, because there's going to be some things that your council has to sign. You have a separate application for your acquisitions and your elevations. You don't put those in together. That is important for you to know. And folks, if you're tracking, that development spreadsheet becomes your benefit cost analysis using pre-calculated benefits. And while we're on the subject of those maps, there is a new advisory flood map. I noticed when we were in Buncombe County that there were people walking in that said, well, I don't think we're in the floodplain. Look, take a look at those advisory flood maps. All you have to do is go to Google and put NCEM advisory flood data. The first option that comes up is that one that you see there for advisory flood. That map allows you, if you'll just click the launch viewer there, you'll find that all you have to do is put the address of the property. Watch what happens here. This is amazing. These are new FEMA funded maps here in North Carolina that show the annual flood chance worsening. And so that property that's in that pink color there that was not in the original floodplain, once you take that all the way over to the 1% chance, they are, and we can use that as leverage, as evidence for eligibility in this grant program. So very important for you to know about that tool that's available to you. On our website, how to submit an LOI, do take a look at that. These are done in the Salesforce portal. There is a very helpful video there, again, under 10 minutes, that goes screen by screen through setting yourself up an account in the Salesforce portal and submitting that LOI. I'm not going to talk to you specifically about deadline dates because they are subject to change. And at the time of the recording of this webinar, we haven't set those yet. So check your NOFA, the Notice of Funding Availability, for the LOI deadline dates in each of the priority areas. Now that we've talked about the two homeowner-driven applications available through HMGP, let's focus on number 3 and number 4 that I teased you about earlier. The landslide mitigation applicant is the city or the county, not the direct homeowner. What we're looking for you to do here, and this is sort of new territory for us, so apologies if it's limited guidance, but this is what we're looking for: a multiple site proposal throughout your county that includes pre-engineered solutions with cost estimates. And it's important for you to remember that those cost estimates can include pre-award costs. So this is what we're talking about for a landslide mitigation. There'll probably be some other guidance that comes out, so keep a watch on our website. And as far as infrastructure proposals, this is quite simple. Just follow the directions and the LOI guidelines that are available to you on the BRIC page. That's ncdps.gov/BRIC. Look, there's an unprecedented amount of funding available under these two storms for the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program here in North Carolina. So we don't expect that we're going to get enough residential projects to fill that opportunity. So therefore, we're going to pull from these land mitigation projects countywide, and we're going to pull from the BRIC LOIs that come in the projects that are best suited to be funded under HMGP rather than BRIC. So that website is where you're going to go to get more information about how to submit an infrastructure project under HMGP. Look, I'm going to send you to another video, 30 minutes this one. It is watch this video first at our BRIC page on the website. That's going to show you the types of projects that we're looking for and what you can expect in submitting a full application and the details of submitting an LOI. You're going to find a couple of other things in there, including that 5% initiative and the 7% plans. For those of you with a lot of history with the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's also a new term in there called the Inflation Reduction Act that talks about energy upgrades that they're looking for to get a project to net zero energy efficiency. So do take a look at that and see if you might have an eligible project in one of those three things. Now, the slides are the most important part of your LOI. We provide you with a template for those slides. Of course, I'm not talking about the residential projects, but the number 3 and the number 4 option. Get those slides together. Our LOI slide panel has a limited amount of time to review each one. So really, these slides are the heart of your LOI, and it also makes things pretty easy for you in applying. Here's two people who will also make this easy for you by answering your questions. Email my boss, Jason Pleasant, at ncdps.gov, or me, and our information is right there on the screen, and we will be very responsive in answering your questions in getting these applications across the finish line. And that is it. You know, I'm going to drive you to one more webinar here. There's a 1-hour version of this that Jason Pleasant recorded that's also available on the resources tab on our website if you want to go into a Q&A and a little bit more in-depth information about HMGP for local governments. 3 final points for you. Read the Notice of Funding Availability. Read that NOFA when it's available on our website. Number 2, be sure to check out the frequently asked questions on our website as we start to see some consistencies in the email questions that are coming in. I'll post those questions and the answer on the FAQ section of our resources page. And number 3, look at the notes in the bottom. Look underneath this video on the YouTube section. If there's any updates to deadlines or any updates to information that we're sharing rather than recording a new video, we'll put that in the notes section underneath this video on the YouTube link. So thank you so much and good luck.